This short video is intended to give you a bit of an idea as to some of the features coming in the upcoming GMoor 10. We've completely redone the user interface from scratch, so you've now got a fully dockable, customizable interface. And we've tried to make everything contextual, so if we click on a line, we can see options that relate to that line, so to show a catenary plot. Or we can also go in and edit the properties of that line. And where we do edit the spread or the line properties now, everything is updated in real time. So if we come in here and make the changes to the buoyancy of that particular buoy and press OK, our catenary plot, our results are all updated immediately. It's also now much easier to get data out of GMoor. If I drag the mouse there to copy some stuff to the clipboard, I can immediately come into Excel and paste that, and it keeps the headings, it keeps the units. And you can copy an entire table or just whichever cells are of interest to you. This is still in development, so there might be some options that seem to be missing at the moment, but those will be restored in due course. But if we come in here and apply some weather, and then we'll indicate a transient failure in the interactive. And we can now extract from that a transient plot both on screen, but we can also export the time series to CSV file, and then we can then open that in Excel. And the same is also true of the low frequency time domain, so you can also extract the time trace for that very easily. Batch is a little bit different. We've tried to make it easier to see what exactly you've changed with the batch case. So again, if we come back into this and apply some weather conditions, you'll see now that it actually shows you, as compared to the interactive, what we've changed. So there's better transparency on what's going on in the batch. And we've only got one report so far, which is equivalent to the detailed output, but now that actually appears within GMoor. It's not launching Adobe Acrobat as a separate application, so it's displayed right in there alongside the spread. We can still export that to PDF if we wanted to, if you need to include that as an appendix in a report. But we've also added a new option where you can export individual tables to Excel. So if I click that button, it shows me the tables on that particular page. And then I can export a table in its entirety in Excel format with the lines, with the headings all laid out. The other thing we can do now with the batch is we can actually write scripts. So a lot of people have asked us for the ability to automate looping over different weather headings, different weather criteria. And we're also going to add the ability to read in environmental cases from a spreadsheet. But this potentially could be very powerful. We can actually generate the vast majority of the code automatically. As you can see here, the weather conditions we put in previously have been pulled across, and it's created the script for us based on those manually specified criteria. All we have to do here is create our loop to go around a range of headings. And I can give my script a title. And that will then create for me on the scripted batch panel there a little button, and when I click it, it'll run my batch. We also now have support for multi-threading, so where there are multiple failure cases for different line failures, those each execute on their own processor for maximum speed. And so now if I go to run my report, we'll see all those environmental cases have automatically been generated for us. And you could have a number of different loops in series or indeed nested one within the other to do potentially a very large number of cases very quickly. And so there we can see the results of those 144 batch cases. We can also use the scripting to optimize for a certain criteria. So in this case, we've got a script that's looking to solve for a factor of safety of 2. We start with our interactive configuration and spread file, and then we create a solver which is built into the GMoor scripting. We specify lower and upper bounds of our variable, which in this case is a wind speed. That's what we're going to vary, and at each iteration we set our wind speed in meters per second. We then carry out our analysis, and we extract from all the components the minimum factor of safety in any component, and we compare that against the target factor of safety, in this case 2. We then specify an initial guess, so we'll just start off arbitrarily of 10 meters per second and we'll optimize from that. And then finally, once we've found our solution, we'll store that in the database. And so because we're starting with our interactive spread, we can come in here and specify our wind direction independently. We can then click on the button, which will then run the solution, and we'll see the attempted wind speed. It's found a solution, and as you can see there on line 4, we've got a minimum safety factor of 2 on component 5. And I can reuse that, so I can come in here and I can specify a different wind direction. And then run my script again. And then we've got a new solution for that wind heading. And that potentially could be adapted to a great number of things.